Come on in. Hello, 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 hello. Why do we keep repeating the same cycles? Why do we keep repeating the same cycles? That's what we're going to be chatting about this Monday evening, this rainy Monday evenings. Hello. So typically, just like every other Monday night that I come on here, I am live in 3 places. We're live on TikTok, we're live on Instagram, and we're live inside the Sacred Lotus Sanctuary. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to discuss why we keep repeating these same cycles, how frustrating that is, right? Whether it's with relationships, whether it's with men, whether it's with money, whether it's with our health or our weight loss, whether it's with business or our jobs, our professional lives, right? We keep repeating the same cycles. We keep going back to the exes. We keep going back to the same job. We keep going back to the same toxic situations, the situations that keep hurting us. And even if it looks a little different on the outside, it's just a mask. We're returning to the same core thing that we keep returning to. And this could look like returning to, like, it's easy to label something as toxic workplace, toxic relationship, but what does that mean? What does it mean to keep returning to a toxic situation? Maybe it's a situation that you feel belittled. Maybe it's a situation where your core childhood wounds, such as abandonment, such as seeking approval, such as emotional unavailability, such as lack of recognition, being ignored, having your self-worth devalued, putting your self-worth in someone else's hands. There are so many situations that we keep returning to that are toxic, and whether or not the face or the environment changes, the core of that situation stays the same. And for some reason, I'm going to tell you guys the reason, but for some reason we keep returning back to the things that keep hurting us. We keep returning back to the pain. We keep returning back to the triggers. And why is that? Why are we doing that? So before we get into it, I want you to let me know where you're joining from. Are you here local in Canada? Are you joining from the States? Let me know where you guys are joining from. Share this live with a woman that you know, a woman that's going to benefit from this, a woman who is just at the end of her rope, who feels like she just can't get out of this. And if this is you, come on in and stay in here. This is going to be a really important conversation. But this is for the woman who feels like she's going crazy, who feels like you just wake up every single day and it's the same situation over and over, and your moods keep fluctuating, but the situation keeps staying the same. You keep returning back to it because of this specific reason. I'm going to tell you guys what it is. And it's not really what we expect it is, okay? This is not because you're broken. This is not because you don't have the skills. This is not because you don't have, the awareness or the capability or the resources to choose better. The reason why we keep returning back to the same situations, right, is because it's easier for us to blame the situation than it is for us to do the work to evolve beyond it. Okay? Rather than us changing ourselves and aligning ourselves with better, right? We would rather, and actually attracting better, we would rather stay in the situation, return to the situations, whether it's the exes, whether it's the jobs, whether it's the environments. We'd rather keep returning to that situation and blame the situation that we're in and be like, the situation is not showing up for me. This person is toxic. This person is doing this to me. It's so much easier for us to blame the other person than for us to do the work that's required to become that person that no longer tolerates those environments, that no longer, not even tolerates, but no longer attracts those environments, okay? And why is it so hard for us to become that person? We can get into it, like maybe it's the traumas, maybe it's the nervous system regulation, and we're going to go into it. We're going to actually go into it. But the reason why we keep returning back to those things is because it's easier for us to blame the circumstance than for us to do the work to actually become the person required to not align themselves with that thing anymore. Okay. And it's easier to blame the other person for not changing, but it's really us that has not changed. Okay. It's really you that has not changed. You can go back to the ex, you can go back to the job and say, this environment's not getting better. The rules have not changed. That person has not changed. They're still toxic. They're still doing this. They're still doing that. But the thing is, it's not them who hasn't changed. It's not the environment that hasn't changed. It's you that has not changed. And so the reason we keep going back, the reason why we keep aligning and attracting the same cycles, the same patterns, is because we are not doing what it's required of us to change and to do better. Okay. And this is not about shame. I'm not shaming you. I'm not shaming myself. I'm not saying this because you need to do more and you need to be, more empowered and smarter. This is actually an empowering approach, because if the responsibility is on you, then you have the ability to change the outcome. Okay. Otherwise, people, as much as we love people, we're fickle. Our emotions can be up and down. Situations can be up and down. If you're waiting for the situation to change, if you're waiting for the person to change, your happiness is going to depend on whatever mood they're giving you that day, right? And your emotions are going to be up and down all throughout the day. But if the responsibility is back on us, that's not about shame. That's about empowerment. You can become the person that you need to become to align yourself to attract that better relationship, that better job, that better health outcome. But what is that going to require of you? What's that actually going to require of you? You're going to have to actually make some changes. And for some of us, we're so used to and so comfortable doing the things that we do, being the person that we're being, right? Let's use weight loss, for example. We're so used to waking up, having the same breakfast, moving our bodies the same way or lack of moving. And for us to actually change is going to require so much effort, right? We can get into the nervous system piece, the safety piece. When you're so used to doing the same thing over and over, that is safety for you. That is safety for your nervous system. That's safety for your body, right? And so when that becomes normal and safe for you, anything outside of that is going to cause a disruption. So you can, maybe you do it for a couple weeks, like, yeah, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to move better. I'm going to choose better. And you do that for a couple of weeks and you fall right back off and you're doing the same thing over and over again, right? So the reason why we keep falling into these cycles and we cannot align ourselves with the thing that we truly want, and we cannot be the person that is required of us to get the things that we actually want, is because for many of us women, we don't even know who we are. Okay? We don't even know what we want. We don't even know the things that we like and the things that we don't like. And why is that? Because we've been disconnected from ourselves for so long, right? For so long. Someone asks you, what do you like, right? It's easier for us to name what we don't like than for us to name what we like. Because most of us, we don't even know. When was the last time we actually spent time, quiet time with ourselves to be like, girl, what do you need? What do you like? What do you actually want out of your life? Right? It's so hard for us to actually say what we want. This is conditioning, right? We don't want to seem selfish. We don't want to seem like we're overbearing. So it's easier for us to say what we don't want, but so much harder for us to actually sit down and be like, this is what I want. This is what I wanted in my life. And because we don't know the answer to those questions, because we actually don't know ourselves that well, we keep going back to what's familiar. Right? We keep going back to that safe place, which might be that toxic situation, which might be that toxic friendship or that toxic relationship or that toxic job. And because that's safe, we just keep going back there. But if I was to ask you right now, what do you want out of your life? What do you want out of your life? What would what would you say, right? Yeah, we're discussing why we repeat toxic cycles. Share your own experience. AI's in here asking questions. Share your own experience. Is there any toxic cycles right now that you feel like you're repeating over and over? Whether it's in your job, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's in your romance, in your finances. A couple of ones that I used to struggle with all the time is living that paycheck to paycheck. So it's like I felt like I was always broke. I was always, in survival mode, right? But why did I keep going back to that? Because it's safe. That's what I knew. It's not what I wanted, but it's what I knew, right? I don't understand the question. My period each month, is it for me? Can you elaborate on that? I don't understand that. But that was so much easier for me to be like, oh, life is too expensive. Oh, I'm a single mom. Oh, this and that, rather than becoming the person required, like what's required of me to change, to become that person so that I'm not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. So maybe that requires, I need to learn some financial management skills. Maybe I need to take on some additional income, right? Of course, things are getting expensive. Of course, life is expensive, rent is expensive. That's not going to change. Those things are not going to change, right? Like I said earlier, the thing that needs to change is you. And it's easy to just blame over and over, right? It's like going back to an ex, right? A toxic ex. Or like, this person doesn't do this, or they do this, or, they're toxic, or they're belittling, or they're disempowering, or they talk to me crazy. What is it about that? Like, what are you getting from that situation? There's something that you're getting out of it. Maybe you're reliving your childhood wounds and that feels safe to you. Or maybe it's validating something in you where it's like an ego thing that like you're able to blame somebody else, right? But the only person that we need to look to is ourselves. Be like, why do I keep returning to that? Don't I deserve better? Don't you deserve better than a situation, a romantic situation that is bringing you down all the time? Don't you deserve better than living paycheck to paycheck? Don't you deserve better than to be working in a toxic environment or to have toxic friends around? If you don't have that self-worth within yourself to believe that you deserve better, you are going to keep going back into the situation. And the way to break that is to become the person required to achieve or to get the thing that you want, right? You haven't yet done the work to elevate beyond that. It's not the situation. This is not about shame, but it's not the situation. It's about you. And so when I ask you right now, what are the things that you want out of your life, right? You say you want marriage, you say you want high income, you say you want good health, but the moment you start getting these things, you do what? You self-sabotage, okay? You start getting in your own way, right? You go into these cycles over and over again. You get confused, right? You're like, I don't even know if this is what I want anymore. It feels too much. You feel like you don't have the capacity, the container to actually hold it. It becomes too much for you, right? But what is it that you actually want? And who is that going to ask you to become? How do you align yourself with that person? And again, most of us don't even know what we want. We're so disconnected as women. We're so disconnected from our intuition, from our womb center, right? Our womb, this is where we get all of our joy. That's where we get our pleasure. That's where we get, our beauty. That's where we get our creativity, our abundance. Everything flows from here. Intuition flows from here. When was the last time you connected with your womb, right? The condition of your womb is reflected in the condition of your life. So if in your womb you feel disconnected, you feel chaotic, you feel like confused, you don't even know what's going on, that's going to show up in your life. So as a piece of homework for you today, I want you to ask yourself, right? Sit down in a quiet space, lay down, if you can, or sit down, place your hands on your womb and ask yourself, what do I desire from life? What do I desire from life? What do you desire from life? When was the last time you asked yourself that? What do you actually desire? Okay, and this is not about the superficial things. This is not about, I want $1 million, or, I want to look a certain way. Maybe it is a physical thing, but what do you